So this part of the hurdle of the Democratic strategy passed in regard to opening the government. And that is that Trump is now completely cornered in with the Epstein files. And what happened was all but one Republican in the U.S. House voted to release the Epstein files of the discharge petition. Every Democrat voted for the discharge petition. When it went to the U.S. Senate, every single U.S. senator voted for the discharge petition, which paints Trump into a massive corner. This doesn't happen. It almost never happens in history. It has only happened twice in this century. Um, and, it because it's usually if the president doesn't want something done, it doesn't happen within their same party. And if the speaker is of the same party as the president, that's double the pressure. That didn't work. That's the nightmare of this particular stage. The vote was so overwhelming that this is a level of vote that not only can override Trump's veto, but it is a vote that could impeach him and remove him from office. It is that big. It is a warning to him. Because I believe that there is a significant chance, like 30-40% chance, that Trump could be impeached next year because it's going to get that bad. So Trump probably could do any one of two things: declare that there is like an investigation going on regarding the Epstein files and therefore do not release the Epstein files. Or we don't know if he has already altered, damaged, or destroyed sections of the Epstein files. These are two real possibilities that he could do. The problem will be is that the House will probably want to force him to release it because he's going against the vote of the entire House but one person and every single U.S. senator. This puts him in a very difficult position because that is enough to impeach him. The next big step that he has, like people might say, well, he won't destroy evidence. Well, they already have. In the Comey case, they withheld evidence from a judge, which is essentially destruction of evidence. In Chicago, the reason why hundreds of illegals were released from their detention is because ICE did not record, quite frankly, destroyed 13 days of evidence to the judge, and therefore they all went free, and ICE is leaving Chicago because they're in a world of hurt because of their unconstitutional behavior. And that's only the beginning. Now, what does this mean going forward? Two things. West Palm Beach, or Palm Beach County, Florida, should release any information that they have. And, of course, in New York, specifically Manhattan, should release data to make certain that if Trump hides or altered data, that's going to be inside of those two counties. Because, Epstein operated out of West Palm Beach, and that is where where a lot of data on him is going to be. And then the other area that's going to have a lot of data on him is when he was operating in, of course, Manhattan and New York. So those two areas are the other two areas that are going to know everything. Plus, the victims are going to know everything. And people have seen the files. So if they are altered in any way, they can't be discovered. And so that kind of puts Trump in a very difficult position. His next major super problem that he has is the ultimate goal of all of this, at least to me, when it comes to the Democrats looking at the discharge petition and realizing that Speaker Johnson is essentially a dead man walking of a speaker, because a discharge petition passed by that size of a majority. He's done. Now what's coming is the discharge petition that the Democrats did regarding the Affordable Care Act. Now, with the Affordable Care Act one, it will fund the Affordable Care Act for the next 3 years. This puts Republicans in a very difficult position because it is very likely that similar votes of this magnitude potentially could relate to that discharge petition. That discharge petition could happen anytime. There is going to be at least by December in the Senate, a vote for the Affordable Care Act extensions. This puts the Republican Party in the middle of a nightmare because this would be a second discharge petition based on the big, beautiful bill. So that's kind of where we're at. We crossed a huge hurdle of the Democratic strategy when they opened the government. And that was to create what you've just witnessed. Now comes the next big stage, the discharge petition regarding the Affordable Care Act. This is where all hell breaks loose. And we're going to win. Because I don't see a Republican plan. And what you have is people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who just wants to reduce costs, and she will be probably willing to go with that discharge petition because she's trying to show that she's not some radical right psycho that no one is going to vote for because, the two utility people in Georgia who won on a statewide basis, she's seeing that reality. And if she wants to go for higher office, she can no longer be this right-wing ultra-MAGA person. And so she's moving in that direction. She realizes that she still has these values, right, that is like America First and all this stuff, and she's trying to carry that forward. The problem that she's going to have going forward is who are America First. The America First people are the people who showed up in the are filled with the people who were in that that text group that came out of the Young Republicans that were praising Hitler, and these are like gropers and all this stuff. Those people don't see Marjorie Taylor Greene as really a capable person because if they're following like the Nazi philosophy, then so they want a lot of people to leave, right? They want the migrants to leave. They wanted the inferior, lesser races to leave or to be placed in a position of inferiority. That's kind of like the Nazi ideology. If you are one of the inferior races, you might be allowed to live, but so long as you forever remember your position. And women in the Nazi ideology were supposed to be breeders. It was so big as far as like the breeding goes within Nazi ideology with regard to Hitler. Well, like when the United States entered the war, the United States' production and the production in Russia was so overwhelming. It was like dominating anything that Germany could do. And even then, in the face of the fact that they were being outproduced like 10 to 1, 20 to 1 in equipment, then what Germany was even reluctant at allowing women to work in arms production because what the Nazis wanted was women to breed white Aryan children. So this was kind of like the whole thing. That's how committed that they will be to their sexism. Because when all the migrants go away, they need white children to be born in large enough numbers to replace the inferior people. And Marjorie Taylor Greene, in the eyes of, people that praise Hitler, which were in those youth groups and the gropers, they need her to be a birthing machine because she needs to replace all the migrants that are leaving the country. So that's kind of where we are. That's kind of how this is going forward. So again, just to recap, the plan executed beautifully. Speaker Johnson is completely and utterly crippled because a discharge petition went through with such a loud voice. There is still one more discharge petition as it relates specifically to the Affordable Care Act subsidies extended for 3 years. And that likely is going to pass because this discharge petition passed. It is highly likely that the remaining years of this Congress may simply be run by discharge petitions. Tell me if you agree or disagree with me. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you.